Welcome into the RotoWire DFS show for Wednesday, April 30th. Barcelona against Inter. We talking DFS, a little bit of DFS, talking lineups. Once those come out, they should be out any minute. And giving my thoughts on the game between Barcelona and Inter. I put a few words together over at rotowire.com/soccer. If you want, check that article out. I'll be talking about most of that stuff on this show. But Roto15, ROTO15 is the promo code. 15% off anything over at RotoWire, any subscription over at RotoWire. You get this cheat sheet that I have up on the screen. We got a month left of the European season, and you'll be able to get all of these cheat sheets, with a subscription. Once you have the subscription, rotowire.com/chat to get into our Discord. So yeah, we have a couple lineup questions. We'll see what the status of Marcus Thuram is. We'll see who starts between Fermin and Dani Olmo. That is probably the two main questions. Maybe you could say maybe DeMarco isn't going to start. He's been a little iffy here and there. Maybe this back line isn't like, maybe Bissek doesn't start, but either way, there's not going to be many changes with the lineups. So yesterday's game, I went in and I had one bad take. I said don't play Donnarumma. He ended up being the best play. Hearing from our guy Tropical Bear that Dani Olmo is in and Marcus Thuram starts. So there's the two questions right there. But in terms of that Arsenal game, yeah, the game went kind of as expected. Even with that early goal, it still went how I envisioned Arteta playing that one. Unfortunately, it led to 0 goals for Arsenal and that allowed goal for Raya. But this one, I think, is maybe a little easier to read. We know Inter's form, and Inter's form is being put into the odds a lot on this. So everyone is heavy Barcelona, which makes sense. Their implied goal total, let's check out the updated goal total, 2.05 for Barcelona, 32% clean sheet, 1.15 implied goal total for Inter. Roughly around minus 155 to win. So that is kind of what we're looking at. And I'm looking at for the lineups. Someone must have leaked the lineups. For some reason, the UEFA site has not updated. Actually, I'm not even looking at the correct game, so that's my fault. I was looking at the second leg. The lineups are up, so here we go. And all right, so as said, Dani Olmo's in. We have Pedri and De Jong in the defensive role. Ferran Torres in for Lewandowski, Cabarsi, and Inigo at center back. No surprises here. Gerard Martin and Koundé. Okay. And then looks like no changes here. Dumfries starts on the right side. Bissek in here at center back, Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan, Barella. Okay, so no real surprises. DeMarco in on the left. So again, kind of similar to yesterday. We don't really have to change too many things up or really anything up with how we're going to read this match. But in terms of DFS, how do we want to attack this? So I think it's going to be, we're going to get, depending on who scores the goals, where the goals come from. We're probably looking at 20 shots for Barcelona, 10 from Inter. Just as I don't know what the over-unders are, but that would be around my guess of what we're going to get here. So let me pull up the team shots. Total shots. Here we go. Barcelona, 18 plus shots is minus 115. I would take over 18.5. Inner shots, either over under is 10.5. So that makes sense. I may go under on that. So I think this is a possibility of, if Barcelona struggle to score, we could be looking at 30 shots. Even if they, they're 1 goal, 2 goals in the second half, I still think they'll be ripping shots. I don't think they're going to get a lead and then sit back. That's on Barcelona. They're at home. So I think they're going to be kind of on kind of in the attacking third the majority of this match. And Inter is a team they're going to sit back. They're going to get their guys on the counter. We saw that in the Bayern Munich match. We saw that with the numbers in those games. Looking at the first leg at Bayern Munich, 58% possession, 20 shots, 7 on target, 2.3 xG. Inter, they won that game. Oh, I should say that. Inter won that game 2-1. 10 shots, 4 on target, 0.78 xG. Those are the kind of numbers that happen when you sit back and you go on the counter. And that's kind of what we're getting here. We look at the recent form of Inter, obviously different matchups, Roma, AC Milan, Bologna. We look at those games. I think they totaled 5 shots on target across, maybe 6 shots on target across 3 games. So I think it's going to be a situation 8 to 10 shots for Inter and maybe 2 to 4 shots on target. I'll say 2 to 3 shots on target. So that's kind of the expectation. And Barcelona, if we're going 20 shots with more upside than that, I say we could get 5 to, without Lewandowski, maybe you change some things in there. But I say we get at least 5 shots on target for Barcelona, upwards 6, 7, 8 if we really get going there. So in terms of that, as we look into a DFS aspect of things, I mentioned in the article, Rafinha, captain, not too difficult to do it. You can look at, when you play Showdown Cash, it's like, okay, let's plug in the set piece takers. But in this situation, I'm not sure 5 to 7 points for Çalhanoğlu is really going to be worth it for 7,800. That'll be obviously a decision that you can make there. But if we look at Çalhanoğlu, a lot of his value will be attached to free kicks and corners. And if I'm expecting less than 4 corners. I think they're over under 3 and probably going to take the under 3.5. So we're expecting 2 or 3 corners, maybe a couple free kicks here and there. Is that going to be enough for Çalhanoğlu to be worth it at 7,800 for the 6, 7 points? I think if you captain Rafinha, it'll be a little more difficult to get in there. Again, he's not that expensive, so sure you can play him. Lautaro Martinez, most of his floor is attached to just taking shots, and of the 10 shots, maybe he could take 3 or 4 of those. And he is a guy who draws fouls, so he is a little more expensive though at 8,800. Dani Olmo, I think Dani Olmo is the fade at 9K because we're getting 60, 70 minutes there. He'll probably be splitting set pieces with Rafinha there. So I think if you can captain Rafinha, maybe you don't want to play Yamal or Ferran or Elmo, and instead you're the set piece guy. You'll blindly look at set pieces. That's what a lot of people are going to do. So Rafinha captain with Çalhanoğlu, and then where else are you going? I think you could play both goalkeepers on this one. You have a close to 60% win chance for Szczesny. He's only 5,800, 4,600 for Jan Sommer. I think you have the save upside there with Jan. So I think you could actually play both goalkeepers, and I think they would actually, even in a 2-1 result, I think both goalkeepers would be worth it. So I think that even whether it's scoreless, whether it's 2-0, whether it's 2-1, again, I think both goalkeepers are there. And I kind of like the Barcelona fullbacks here. They don't get as far forward as you would like, but 6,600 for Gerard Martin, and Koundé is 6,200. Both not overly expensive, but I think if Barcelona are going to be the attacking third a lot, both players are in play. And then you also have enough room for someone like DeMarco. I think DeMarco is a good fade in tournaments. In cash games, maybe not so much. 7K, plenty of room there. So I think there's plenty of places to go. You could probably take away Szczesny, maybe putting something together here. Yeah, I mean, you could do Rafinha, Çalhanoğlu, DeMarco, Yamal, Martinez, Sommer, or just replace Yamal with Olmo. But I still like Yamal, even with split of set pieces for Olmo. I actually like Yamal a little bit better because we're getting more than 80 whatever minutes from him. So that's kind of the cash look there. And then in terms of tournaments, build out how you think this game's going to go. Uh, I think Inter haven't scored in a few games. On initial thought, it's Barcelona will probably allow a goal because that's kind of how they play. The games are a little kind of madness, and we have seen Inter. We saw Inter's counter have a lot of success against Bayern Munich. I think we could be looking at 2-1, 3-1, maybe a little high scoring there. I think 2-1, 3-1 is a possibility. 2-0 is a possibility, something like that, both towards Barcelona. Uh, Inter getting the win, always possible. I don't really think it's going to happen, but you could play for it. You could play Jan Sommer. I mean, that was the case yesterday with PSG. You could play Jan Sommer, captain. I think you could even in a maybe not a loss for Sommer, but I think we do have 8 save upside for Sommer. I think similar to how I was mentioning Raya. I don't know what he finished with, 4 or 5 saves yesterday, but I mean it was kind of difficult. He allowed that goal in the first 5 minutes. What's the move for a goalkeeper, captain? You could captain Szczesny. I'm just worried about how many saves he's going to get. Is he going to get a win and a clean sheet with 3 or 4 saves? Maybe. And then is that going to be enough? Let's see. I'll end things. I got a company meeting here, 3 minutes here, but uh, let's do Szczesny captain here before I take off and then see what that looks like for everyone. So Szczesny captain. Okay, should be pretty easy. 8,700 for captain. Obviously, we want Rafinha. I think you can get Ferran Torres in this lineup. Do you want to play Ferran Torres? He's not going to be very popular. He'll be popular, but not that popular given that he is the starting striker for Barcelona. He's probably, let me click into his profile here. He's probably going to be in the 70, 80 minute range, 59 minutes here, 77 minutes over the weekend. He'll probably be 70, 80 minutes. And I think that we saw the 4 shots, 2 chances created against Mallorca. I think he's in range for that. And then if he gets a goal or assist, and the fact that he's going to be 2 times, 3 times less popular than Rafinha. Rafinha is going to be 80%. We'll probably get Ferran Torres 30%. I'm just tossing numbers out here. So if you can get Ferran Torres here, Yamal is going to be more popular than him. I would say I really hate, fading Yamal, but you could fade Yamal. Maybe the goals and assists only come from Rafinha. I think Rafinha is the one guy you probably don't want to fade because I think you can do so many things. You can do so many things in your lineup that there aren't that many true punts on the slate. The inner center backs, a few of them have decent floors from defensive stats. And Inigo Martinez isn't terrible. Kubarsi, maybe the worst floor. Let's actually look at Champions League floors here. Let's see what the worst floor on this slate is. Acerbi, 3.42. Kubarsi, 3.43. Inigo, 3.51. And Bisek, 4 floor points. These are floors before clean sheets here as well. So those are the floor points. De Jong's going to be subbed off early. Koundé, Barella's 4K, not the worst play. What was it, 1, 2, 3 years ago? We'd love. It must have been the run when they played against. Must have been 2 seasons ago. We were pretty frequently playing Barella a couple seasons ago. Now he's playing a little deeper, no set pieces at all. Maybe he'll get up and take a shot here and there, but he's only 4K, so not the worst option there. So let's get back to this. Let's get back to, I think Gerard Martin gets more forward than Koundé. And okay, so actually let's go with Koundé here. That's our only option. So here is my favorite on the spot my favorite Szczesny captain lineup. So Szczesny captain, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, Yamal, Koundé, and then I got Big Jan Sommer at 4,600 for my Inter Milan piece. So you're thinking with this game, we're thinking 2-0 kind of a game, maybe 3-0, doesn't really matter, but we're getting we're getting 3-4 shots from Farron, a couple chances created, and we're getting at least a goal from Ferran Torres there. And then maybe an assist from Yamali, maybe, Rafinha. Hope that Rafinha doesn't surpass 20, 25, 30 points. So a win and clean sheet. So we're getting 4. We're getting I mean, we want more saves from Szczesny in this spot, but the fact that with Szczesny captain, you can get Rafinha, you can get Farron, you can get Yamal, you can get those 3 guys, and you can get a clean sheet from one of the fullbacks. That is one thing you can't get when you captain Rafinha. Like, you're not going to be able to, if you have Rafinha, you're not going to be able to get Farron and Yamal in there without the rest of your lineup looking pretty ugly. So that's the benefit of captaining Szczesny there. So there you go. That's Szczesny captain. And I don't want to be a Barcelona here, big Barcelona guy. I think an early score. That's how I'll end it. 2-1 Barcelona. How about that? 2-1 Barcelona. I think that they get the first, they get the opener, Inter get one back, and then Barcelona find a winner in the second half. But that's all I got. Roto 15, ROTO 15, 1-5, that is. 15% off any RotoWire subscription. Then find us in the Discord. Any more questions? rotowire.com/chat. Thank you for listening. We'll have a DFS show Friday. We have a betting show later in the week as well. Ton of our usual stuff, Check us out, rotowire.com/soccer for everything else. Thank you for listening, and good luck on the slate.